Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Trinity Health Stadium, the home of the Hartford Athletic here in Hartford, Connecticut, and the home for all CIAC boys and girls soccer championships. Today, we have the East Lyme Vikings, the 3 seed in this tournament, taking on the 8 seed Notre Dame West Haven Green Knights. David Blanchard alongside Chris Saunders. And Chris, we've got a bit of a rematch. It's not a championship rematch like we just saw last game. No, instead, this is a team in East Lyme who's looking for a little bit of revenge. They were knocked down in the quarterfinals. Now, head coach Christensen said, they beat us fair and square. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. But this is a game that they definitely want to take advantage of, get a little bit of revenge on these Green Knights.
You know, my conversation I had with Paul Christensen just a couple weeks ago on my podcast, he was telling me how in the second game of their playoff, they were dealing with a lot of, sicknesses and injuries, and that's what happens when you play 20-plus games. There's going to be nicks and bruises, right? And for them to get to this point with the amount of talent that they have, the ECC champion, let's not forget also East Lyme, not to be poo-pooed with what Notre Dame West Haven was able to do, even though they lost a couple games. There's a lot of wins on this field like there was in the Double-O Championship with St. Joe's and their counterpoint with the Lancers of Notre Dame Fairfield.
We're ready for an absolute outstanding game, and I know just from a Notre Dame West Haven standpoint, this is a team that I played for myself. I am an alumnus of Notre Dame West Haven, but don't worry, there's no bias here in the booth. I'm ready for a great match of soccer. I talked to head coach Christensen of East Lyme before the game, and I told him, I said, I want to see what I saw in those semifinal highlights. They were a very aggressive team, and they're very, very good in the air. And he said he's got a long thrower on the team, too. Chris, I love that portion of the game. It's a set piece.
Was that your first question you asked?
You know what it was? It came from Rodrigo Silva, the coach for Notre Dame West Haven, and he said that's one of the things I've noted is that they have a long thrower, and I'm not getting beat in the air today. We are underway. Notre Dame West Haven in the white uniforms with the gold lettering. Don't worry, I can see the numbers, though. It's not that bad. They are going from right to left on your screen. East Lyme, the higher seed, they are going from left to right in those nice maroon white lettering. Best jersey so far today.
If it wasn't as sunny, I think it'd be a little bit easier to see the numbers for Notre Dame West Haven. But you know what? We'll make it do because that's who we are.
The Green Knights, they're missing 2 of their best players from last year. Santana, who did not return this year, and then Curris as well, the one of their better players from last season. Now, he is going to return next year is what I'm being told, or he wants to at least, and not in this game today. He decided to play some academy soccer this year, but said he wanted to get back and try to get back out there with all his friends.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He's going to the school still, so it's one of those where, it's a team that even head coach Rodrigo Silva believes is not as good as they were last year, but they're still executing the plays and everything that they want to do out there on the pitch.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because, and I'll wait until after.
An opportunity there early for East Lyme. That shot goes just a bit wide. We'll get a goal kick.
Kind of looking at the bracket of which this team, Notre Dame West Haven, was to get here. Their bracket, mind you, Ledger lost to Bunnell, the 1 seed. So as they were going through against Newington and then Bunnell.
And there's a bit of the physical play, Chris, not to cut you off, but there's a bit of that physical play. They're going to try to knock them around a little bit, see if they can get them off their game early. Because it was also taking the foul there on a kid you're going to want to circle, Giancarlo Esquivel. He has been the man. He actually scored the penalty to lift the Green Knights into this championship game when they played Massac just a few days ago.
The closest seed that Notre Dame West Haven faced was realistically was Massac at 13. That was in the semis. They faced a 16 and a 24 to also get to this point. So, and then obviously Torrington at 25. And they handled Torrington very well. 5-0 was the score. So, as you know, you and I were talking about, I know seeding can kind of be thrown out of the table, especially in soccer. But 2 very talented teams we're watching.
And that it is. These Green Knights, they come in, they're 14-2-3, so they've been touched up a little bit from some other teams. Wilbur Cross actually had their number, and funny enough, there's a little bit of history there. One of the assistant coaches for Wilbur Cross, Scott Raffone, is a former assistant coach here with his father, Rudy Raffone. Rudy started the program back in '88. They were only JV that 1 year, and then '89 they became varsity. And his first captain, who most of you at home are probably, well, what does it matter? It's funny enough, it's his now son-in-law, wasn't at the time, but now son-in-law, John Antonucci. Rudy ended up leaving after the 2016 season. And funny enough, one of his last captains in that last season, Joe Antonucci, John's son. So family runs deep here at Notre Dame West Haven. And it just goes to show as well as there's one of the players on this team, Sebastian Schrie. His father is another one that used to play at Notre Dame. So it's one of those schools that you continue to go back and come back to Notre Dame and play. As there's an opportunity trying to drive that one in, maybe get a touch just in front of the keeper there, but this will go out for a corner, and Notre Dame is going to have their first chance on the corner kick.
And that's the beauty, Dave, of being able to have multiple family members and such kind of come through the programs. We've seen that in multiple sports, multiple schools, and so on. And it's a beautiful thing.
You can see the flag waving there. We have dealt with a little bit of wind. Hasn't been a factor yet so far. We'll see as the day goes on. Beautiful cross taken there as that's headed away by Ryan Wargo. And a foul there by the Green Knights. So the Vikings will avoid danger. Player's still down there, and I believe it is Robert Stoddard. Just trying to make sure that is 22. Stoddard did have one of the goals to lift East Lyme against Cheshire. Now, that's not an easy Cheshire team to beat. We saw them in this championship game last year for Class L when they took on Xavier. And just seeing Stoddard's goal, I'll be honest with you, when I saw the video on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now, phenomenal. I mean, he got up there, and again, he's a big kid. You're not going to push him around. He is a very strong individual.
To paint the picture of kind of what both these teams are going to be doing in this game, in my conversation with Paul Christensen, he's not the kind of coach that likes to just shoot the ball up and let his athletes go. He wants to have the pieces. He wants to be able to get the precision passes, and that's what you're going to see, allow his athletes to be able to work.
Yeah, and again, this is familiar territory, not in recent history, but definitely for head coach Paul Christensen. He's been in this game before quite a couple times, 4 to be exact, and only came away with a championship once. He did share it with Wethersfield back in 2002. His most recent was in 2008, so 15 years ago is quite a long time.
And 36 years he's been with the program as well.
36 years as head coach. I definitely wanted to ask him that because I didn't know what the number was, and he said 36, 38 if you want to say how long he's been here. He was JV for those first 2 years, but they after those first 2 years quickly realized that a promotion was definitely something they wanted to do here and has benefited them ever since. On the other side of things, Notre Dame West Haven is dealing with a first-year coach, Rodrigo Silva. He's from Londrina, Brazil. The reason I note that is because the same town is home to Everson Marcel at Sacred Heart Academy. He won in his first season with Sacred Heart, and the reason I bring up those two is because, well, they've known each other since 1996. They actually go back a long time, and they coach together with Everson's premier program that's just club and has nothing to do with high school, but those coaches recently have now been getting involved in this high school CIAC league, and they've really been excelling, as you can see here, with Rodrigo making it to the state championship in just his first try.
As I look at both benches for East Lyme and also for Notre Dame West Haven, East Lyme bench standing up, every one of them. Notre Dame West Haven, they're sitting down. Interesting strategy between both sides.
Yeah, East Lyme being the first team so far this weekend. We'll have plenty more, but they're the first team that is just a town. The rest of the 3 schools, so we saw in our Class L girls, St. Joseph versus Notre Dame of Fairfield. Those are 2 private schools, as well as Notre Dame of West Haven. So you're seeing some of the town schools get involved, and obviously with the town schools, you can pull from a bunch of towns. East Lyme only pulls from 1. Now, head coach Christensen did let me know that, well, we do get Salem to come to our school as well, but I don't have any kids from Salem, so I'm only getting East Lyme, whereas they're getting maybe 10 to 12 different towns for their team.
Correct. But as he did tell me, I remember in the conversation that we had, that there is a good number of kids that do try out for the program, and that's because of obviously what he's been able to do for 36-plus years and the reputation that the program has.
Sent into the middle there. Maybe an opportunity. Shot low. Scooped up very easily by Ben Johnson, the senior goalkeeper for the Vikings.
And
He's been tested quite a few times so far, Chris.
And Johnson, as you can tell as we see the replay here, you mentioned the one-time shot that the player was able to have, and just not at the position that you want if you're trying to kick that ball away from Johnson, who does have a lot of length and does have the ability to cover a good amount of the goal side.
Evan DeLuca, the junior forward, has been the target man so far for this Green Knight team, and you kind of wonder how long does it take East Lyme to catch on and say, all right, we've got to mark him because he's a big kid up there, and he's definitely going to get his head on a few. Almost an opportunity there from the Vikings. Stoddard looked like he wanted to hit it midair but wasn't able to. Tries to clear there as the Green Knights, and finally getting it out. East Lyme will regroup there. Yeah, a little push in the back, so that one will come back. Is Evan Fletcher. Just a bit of a push there. I believe, if I have the number right, it is Montahano. So free kick here from distance, but again, this doesn't mean you can't score on them. We've seen it before here, Chris.
Just never know. Got to make sure you protect that side of the box.
Another try, and that one well over the bar. So it will be a goal kick here. We're just 10 minutes into this one. Trinity Health Stadium here in Hartford, Connecticut, the home of the Hartford Athletic and all CIAC boys and girls championship soccer games. This is game 2 of 8 this weekend. We've already had one this morning at 10 a.m. It was our girls double L. What a way to kick it off. St. Joseph won 3-1 over Notre Dame of Fairfield. It was a repeat of last year's Class L. And as we mentioned here, not a championship rematch, but two teams with more recent history than they've had in really either program's history. Notre Dame West Haven had never played East Lyme before last year's tournament game. Now, as I mentioned before, Rudy Raffone, who used to coach here for Notre Dame West Haven, he actually used to play them a lot when he used to coach Westbrook back in the day. And
because of the same conference in the ECC.
Obviously didn't coach against Paul Christensen, but he has his history with them. Mm-hmm. So it's funny enough that the longstanding coach never had that history here with Notre Dame, and now Notre Dame in a championship game, their first ever championship game. This is a school that has plenty. If you walk into that gym, they've got banners for hockey and football and baseball. Not a single one for
basketball,
soccer.
too.
Basketball as well, and then not a single one for soccer just yet. They have this opportunity today. And, again, I always like to mention, we do go to penalties now, so there will be one champion. There is not two here. They will not be sharing any trophies. So, obviously, East Lyme, they shared their only championship in boys soccer. That won't happen today. They're either going to win it outright or they will fall, and Notre Dame will win their first ever championship. Foul called there. Conversation going on, so
West Haven's been a little, again, like you mentioned before, both teams being aggressive, but West Haven's been a little bit more, and I'm not saying dirty, but they've been definitely kind of teetering on the line of like, okay, we're being aggressive, trying to...
A little too much aggression, yes.
Yeah, and, you know, in soccer you can be aggressive even if the whistle's being blown, but the last thing you want is get a card, especially in this game.
That one sent in. No maroon jerseys, as that one is very simple for Matthew Prado. The Green Knights will start from their back four.
Interesting set that they have here. They've got 3 defenders, the left center, right backs. Then they got 2 of the midfielders. Looks like number 11. I can't see the number on the opposite side, but that's kind of what they got so far in this midfield. They have not changed from that so far with 27 minutes remaining in this first half. They stuck to that defensive side from mid to the backs.
And you're going to obviously learn throughout this game of how they set up. It's very slow right now through their back. They're not trying to rush anything.
Very methodical.
It's a very Brazilian way to play the game, and that's why I mentioned Rodrigo Silva being from Brazil and having that Brazilian connection with the Everson program here in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Is It's just how they've coached for so many years.
So they're patient, basically, right?
It's a very patient way to play the game. And then on top of it, once you get it to your forwards, they don't rush their opportunities. They make the most of them. And you're going to see a lot of that here. There's not going to be rushed opportunities. Obviously, they will play that aggressiveness, but foul called there.
Now, I will say, that does work when it's in your favor, if the score is tied or you're ahead. But if, let's say, East Lyme is able to penetrate and score early, then you're putting West Haven in a uncomfortable position because now they have to get away from their strength and now have to, which I'm sure they can. But, you know what I mean? It's one of those cases where they'll have to get outside of their normal playbook if they are to be down.
Last year when the two faced, it was a 4-1 win for Notre Dame West Haven in the quarterfinals of the Class L tournament. This year, both coaches said this isn't going to be a blowout. No team is just going to take it and run with it. They don't think. It should be a lot closer of a game. And so far, through the first 15, it has been just that.
East Lyme has stayed under 4 to 5 goals for majority, especially when you look at the competition. When they were playing higher seeds, the goals stayed within 3 to 4. So this is not a team that's going to come out and score 5 to 6 to 7 goals. But again, like you said, you have two teams that are very methodical and know what they, basically know what their strengths are. So I would be very shocked if this ended up being a 3-0, 4-0 kind of game where it was just one-sided. I just don't see it.
Just how it's gone so far in this first 15, I truly also don't see anything like that happening. But the aggression from both sides is picking up as a tackle there made is going to get called back.
That's the fourth one.
And I believe, I believe now his second or third as well. I'm trying to see if that's Coleman. Again, these gold numbers on the jerseys throw me just a bit. I can't make out. No, this is Coleman on this side, so could be Julian Kubik on that far side with number 8. That's why I do appreciate East Lyme. I'm sorry. Right now, I know I went to Notre Dame West Haven, but I do like these East Lyme jerseys a little bit better just because it's that dark jersey with the white lettering. It's easy for a broadcaster to read.
We're about to see our first sub of the game for either team as West Haven will be subbing in one player. East Lyme has not yet, but I have noticed 1 to 2 players just stretching out and getting their bodies warm. 1 to be exact for East Lyme.
Good to note as well, St. Joe's last game, they were the one that won, and they didn't take a sub all game, so it's one of those conditioning things. You need to be ready to play a full 80 if you can. If you can go full 80, you don't have to use your bench players.
Looks like 22 for Notre Dame West Haven will be subbed in.
Great tackle there. Phenomenal job done by the Vikings, and they just clear it back out, so you're going to let Notre Dame reset here, but slows down the process for the moment. That was a phenomenal tackle, getting all ball. But once again, Notre Dame's going to start from their back 3, I should almost say.
I was about to say there's only 3, but then you've got, like we mentioned, where the mid ends up being 2 to 3 on the corners.
Diego Chavez playing more of a central defensive mid position. It's an odd spot where he is because he's on this near side to us more. But he's also playing, it seems, more defensively. Looking long, but holding off. Again, it's a very patience game right now for Notre Dame, and you have to wonder if that's going to get in the heads of East Lyme, if they're just going to wait for their counter-attacking opportunities like this, or if they're just going to rush it and try to boot it forward again.
Well, see, I think that's where East Lyme has to stay within their strength and also realize, like, hey, we can't play down, or not even play down, but we can't be frustrated because then that's what they're waiting for.
And it's just like you said there, where the opportunity goes out of bounds for another Notre Dame throw-in. Are they rushing their opportunities because they're waiting so long to win back that opportunity to go up the field and counterattack? And again, it's a first year for Rodrigo Silva, so they may not have played like this last year when they met. This was a completely different coaching staff. Albeit I do see one of the assistant coaches for Notre Dame out there, but here's an opportunity for Notre Dame. DeLucia. Oh, well done to beat his man. Cleared attempt from the Vikings. Doesn't go out, Esquivel keeps it in. Oh, he wanted to volley that one after trapping it off his chest. And Giancarlo Esquivel, the captain here for the Green Knights, puts it in the corner. Just such a great solo effort here. And finally, I believe it goes out for a goal kick. Yes, no corner. I didn't think it was. It looked like it went off of Giancarlo Esquivel last. So the Vikings avoid danger for now. Can they quickly counterattack here now? They've got numbers on this near side. It's going to come all the way out. That's Luke Salon. Salon wants someone to make a run, and nobody's helping him out. He's got Coleman on him. Salon into the corner. Coleman.
Ooh, hits a play.
Defended well there, but it will go off his shin for a corner. So now East Lyme with their set piece opportunity.
This will be East Lyme's first corner kick with under 21 minutes in this first half. I think each team has attempted one corner, maybe two for Notre Dame.
And we'll see where he can place this one. Remember, this is where they're deadly in the air. That one goes very long. It might be a wasted opportunity as they were trying to find Stoddard, but unfortunately, way too long. I think it only bounced once in bounds, and then it was out the rest.
Maybe a little bit too much air. Again, the wind really starting to
Maybe,
blow here.
Yeah, it could be that,
in this
that
second
factor
game,
now.
Because you got to think about it. First game with St. Joe's and Notre Dame Fairfield, it was a little rainy. It wasn't obviously sunny until later in the game. The wind wasn't blowing as much. Now, sun's out. Not as many clouds, at least covering Trinity Health Stadium. And the wind is howling, as you could probably hear over our mic.
52 degrees here in Hartford, so a bit chilly. It's a bit warmer than what some of this New England weather has been lately. I know we're supposed to get snow and slush in the next couple weeks, which is crazy
who'd
to
you
me.
hear that from?
Google.
Oh.
So I don't know how reliable, but again, the weather's constantly changing here in New England. And
it was 65 a couple days ago.
That's exactly. It was beautiful a few days ago.
Ooh, nice through ball.
Great opportunity here, Notre Dame. Blocked in front. Well done by the Vikings defense. As Evan Fletcher almost knocked one trying to test out Johnson. He's only had a few opportunities so far, but they were easy scoops. Esquivel there to Fletcher. Fletcher leaves that one. Diago Chavez goes down looking for the call, but won't get it. And the Vikings will clear it out for the moment.
That's a clean tackle.
Well done there. That is beautiful from Julian Kubik.
Kubik perfectly went after the ball. Wasn't dirty slide by any means. You'll see the replay right here as he goes.
Timed so perfectly, Chris.
The timing is exactly what you look for. Didn't go for the ankles. Knew exactly when the ball was going to be in that position for him to slide. If you want to teach a class about sliding cleanly in soccer for the soccer ball, right there.
Yes, beyond absolute perfect tackle. And again, obviously you give away the throw-in, but the alternative is he goes around you, and now they've got numbers up the field.
Exactly.
Another throw here for East Lyme. We did see a long throw in here, so this is my guy right now.
There you go.
That's what I've been looking for. I'm going to circle his name. That is Montejano. He was a sub that came in. He's the one that's got the long throw. So you're going to take that into account when they get very close to that 18-yard box area with about 25 yards in. That could be a set piece for East Lyme, and they're very deadly in the air. They look for Stoddard just about every single time as a big, strong kid up there at striker, and he does not go down very easily. So it's going to take a lot to push him out of the way of where the ball is going. Notre Dame resets here. That is Milton Jimenez. He is the most recent sub for Notre Dame of West Haven.
Interesting now, Dave, they got two players. Now 3 players back defensively, but at the time they only had 2. Their middle backer was playing more to the mid position than he was on defense.
Tries to collect that one, and now a shot there, but well high and wide. And it's Evan DeLucia, the target man for these Green Knights. And him and the captain of this squad, Giancarlo Esquivel, they have connected quite a few times down the stretch for some goals to lift the Green Knights to wins this season. Keep that in mind as it gets later into this game, as those two have some chemistry. Here are the Vikings now. Shut down for the moment. Defended well by the Green Knights, but they're not out of danger. Stays onside as a few of the Green Knights are looking for a call there. And they're going to let Pareto just pick that one up. And it looks like they want to go quick. You can hear Silva on the sideline. That's what our mic is picking up, and he's telling them to get going. So he wanted a quick counterattack, but unfortunately does not go well for the Green Knights. Wayward pass there. So they regain possession. To the outside, Esquivel. Finds Delushka. Lucia into the middle there for Fajardo. Fajardo tried to swing that one into the middle, but couldn't. And now resetting it to the back four. You can see a lot of the Notre Dame players have blonde hair. They bleach their hair. It's something that they've been doing years past for hockey. They come together for a tournament, even swimming as well. They like to bleach their hair, and it's sort of a team bonding thing. I've never seen it done for soccer. Maybe a few times, with maybe Glastonbury and Farmington back in the day.
Didn't Wethersfield a couple years ago?
It may have been Wethersfield.
I thought they did something as well when they won the championship.
But you don't see it often. I see it a lot for hockey. They'll do mullets and stuff like that, but very odd to see it for soccer. And
business in the front, party in the back.
Absolutely. I think the mullet look for hockey is a lot better than the blonde look, mainly because you have a helmet on and they can't really see your hair.
This is true.
So.
Got 2 subs in for East Lyme. Number 2 for Notre Dame, West Haven's in.
So James coming in. I'm trying to say that. I know 14 came in, so that's Gates for East Lyme. I didn't catch the other sub.
First 2 subs for East Lyme in the game as well. They have not subbed up until this under 15-minute mark in the first half as we're tied 0-0.
And that is the target man, DeLucia, coming out. So coming into the game, Grayson James. He is a junior as well. Another throw here for Jimenez, the sophomore. He was a sub earlier on for this Green Knights team. Swung in. Didn't have enough numbers. A lot of maroon jerseys in the 18-yard box. Esquivel. His shot blocked. Possession regained by the Green Knights. So a very hospital ball, you may call, and couldn't get it out of harm's way is the Vikings, so Green Knights still with possession. Jimenez on this near side touchline. That one goes through the wickets, and will be a throw-in. They're trying to get Fletcher to go quick. Fletcher plays it into the middle, but they're going to say it went off of him and him only. No deflection. So East Lyme with a goal kick as we're nearing the 10-minute left mark here in the first half. We are scoreless 0-0 in the Class L Boys Championship game. David Blanchard alongside me is Chris Saunders, and we're bringing you all 8 CIAC championship games this weekend here at Trinity Health Stadium. We've had one of our 8 champions so far, St. Joseph, for the Class LL girls. And now we're looking to crown a champion for the boys in Class L. We will have all of those games here on the NFHS network.
We've only seen East Lyme really get a good shot, maybe once on this defense of Notre Dame West Haven. On the other side.
Even then, I don't know if it was that great. It was just a shot. It was more so it's just you got something on frame rather than missing high and wide.
Correct.
For Notre Dame, I've seen, I think, 2, and again, it's only shots. It hasn't been anything spectacular.
It's been more on the other side where the Green Knights have been able to get after the Vikings, even if, like, prime example right here, ball ends up being another goal kick. But it's been on, and this kind of goes back to what we said in the last game with St. Joe's and the Lancers, right? When it's on one side for a long time, you're almost playing with fire. That's what's happened. Nothing yet, but point is, you don't want to tempt that.
On the other side of this field, you do see the stands completely empty. Don't worry, that isn't the side that fans are mostly allowed on. There are some on that far side, but there's plenty of fans on this near side.
Unless you want to go across, then there's open seats in every spot.
Well, we have seen it last year where one of the teams will go on that other side, but We have a bit of a student section here for East Lyme. I don't see anything from Notre Dame West Haven.
Does that surprise you?
Not as much, but again, they have been very supportive in recent years for their teams going to championship games, as you can see there on the screen for a moment.
That was the East Lyme fans.
East Lyme crowd. Yep. Notre Dame, they packed it in well. And again, remember, this is a Notre Dame team that's never been to a state championship for boys soccer, so there's a lot of alumni, myself included, very proud of them for getting this far, but they would say the job's not done. As a block shot there, phenomenal. And I know that block shots are a thing that you're going to get a lot of in hockey, but you don't seem to see that a lot in soccer as a big stat. Play continues here as it's back and forth, very aggressive. That was phenomenal work there.
They let him play.
Trying to make out who that was. I think it was Montejano that was making that great defensive play on Jimenez. He stayed with it, and you can hear the excitement from the Viking crowd. They are thrilled with that. Job well done. There's also a block shot in there from Ryan Wargo. As I mentioned, you don't see it too often as a big stat you want to write down, but they have blocked so many shots so far, and that could be a very big factor in this game of why it stays scoreless or a 1-0 game. Because of those block shots, you're not letting them get to Johnson very often.
I think the fact that East Lyme has been able to not back down from the aggressiveness of the Green Knights, you've kind of seen them stay with that, and I think that is something that can progress over the course of this game.
Montejano, just let go of it. A bit weird, so it started to curl right, but he got that from, I believe, the 25-yard mark here on this. For whatever reason now, I had Trinity Health Stadium have some football markers. Must have had a game played here.
There was a game played yesterday.
Last night, there we go. So yesterday they played a game here for football, and it was about the 25-yard marker, and that went all the way to the behind the net. So that's a good throw there, about 30 yards, and as they get even closer and closer into that 18-yard bar, that's almost like a free kick off to the side or a corner kick that you're taking. Vikings are going to reset from their back four, not rushing their opportunities. Short ball there to Montejano. He's going to try to make a run. He's dragged down, and that will be called a free kick here in a dangerous territory for the Vikings. You're going to see the replay here, and 100% the correct call is Esquivel goes and reaches over, and even if he didn't really get him that well and it was more of a dive or embellishment from Montejano, you're getting called every single time. Free kick taken here. Delgado. That one's short. Plays that back out to Delgado, but it's out of the reach, and Notre Dame will get off very lucky there as the opportunity for the Vikings ends very quickly.
That could have been called for an illegal throw-in. He barely even – I mean, I know it's rarely called, but –
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But again, it's one of those where if the officiating crew out there, the refs are
if they
on
see that,
point and they
exactly.
catch you. I saw one actually last week when I was in Rhode Island, and the kid completely stepped over the line. I'm just like, they let that go. It's one of those where if they don't catch you, you got away with something small. It's not massive. It doesn't ruin the game, but it's definitely illegal. Vikings starting from their back four. Montejano resets it once again. It's Sagan. Tristan Sagan was the MVP of the 2023 ECC Division I Championship. It was a 4-3 win for East Lyme over Norwich Free Academy. It's not often that you see a defenseman in a 4-3 game be your MVP, but he was indeed that. As well as a first-team All-ECC selection with a few of his teammates, Robert Stoddard, Gabriel Delgado, Dominic Stefanski, A.J. Montejano, and Ben Johnson. So lots of all-conference players on this East Lyme team. That one's chipped in, offside. The flag is up. But getting a touch onto it was Prado.
He was offsides about half a
I was going to say it wasn't very close. You'll
Here's
see
the
it here on the
replay,
replay. Beautiful cross in.
Maybe a foot, couple feet, maybe.
Yeah, just a slight bit offside. But Prado still managing to make that save. Well done. Fletcher trying to feed Esquivel just out of his reach. Now the Vikings looking like they want to get going quick. Falling but keeping the possession for the moment. And now cleared up. Fletcher. He wants to change field. His crossover on the opposite side was out of reach. Stoddard holding on to it, and it just shows right there how hard it is to take the ball away from him as he was ready to truck through a few defenders on this Green Knight team. We're going to get 2 more subs. So DeLucia's coming back into the game, and that is Brendan Oso. He is also coming back into the game, so a few starters returning. Stoddard coming out. Interesting move. I wouldn't have picked Stoddard to be coming out at any point in this game, but if you're going to do it, it's with 6 minutes left in the first half, and hopefully you don't allow anything. Fletcher coming out for the Green Knights on the opposite side.
Don't forget, it's been a long season for both teams. They played a lot of games, a lot of nicks, a lot of things that have been dealt throughout the season. You got to think, the amount of games that have been played. So I think Christensen's playing the long game here, giving one of his star players a little bit of a breather and hoping that doesn't come back. Because, we're under 6 minutes in this first half. I'm sure he'll come back before the end of this make manage the minutes for all of his players.
It's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's only been doing it for 36 years.
Yeah, he knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
Green Knights trying to get going quick. Ooh, stops on a dime. Well done there. That's Will Glennie on that far side. Also a captain here with Esquivel. Trying to find Esquivel there, but defended well. Some grabbing going on, and Notre Dame will win the free kick. Trying to send in DeLucia. DeLucia with it on this near side, so not the target man now. Now he's in the center, or he's on this left side. Esquivel, what a nice move. Tries the shot from distance. That one very, very simple for Ben Johnson. Just going to roll that one out, and the Vikings will start from their back 4. Under 5 to go here in the first half. 0-0. 3-seed East Lyme taking on the 8-seed Notre Dame West Haven. Both schools are looking for their first championships alone. No co-champs. Notre Dame looking for their first overall in any class. There's a foul call there, and Notre Dame will win a kick. And for East Lyme, they're looking for their first non-shared championship. They've been here 4 times. They've got 1 championship, but that's because there was no penalties. So they shared with Wethersfield. It's a short ball there from Esquivel. Goes down again. Seemed a little too easy there was Diego Chavez. And now the Vikings are going to try to counter quick. They have a few numbers, 4 maroon jerseys upfield, plenty of white jerseys to defend. Defended well there, unbelievable play. And Glennie's just going to send that one forward.
You got to think
the wind, I think, took that one out a bit.
You got to think about the lack of hope. It was number 13 for East Lyme. He kind of ran away as the player was cutting in. If he was able to pinch in, talk about some of the help. He's trying to get by 2 defenders. It's hard to get by 1.
Played into the middle, picked off by Chavez. He's going to play a through ball there for Grayson James, just out of the reach, and the Vikings are going to try to get this one out. They will. It should be a throw-in for Notre Dame, and it is. So a deep throw here, deep throwing opportunity. There's a sub coming on. That'll be number 26, Christian Habanic. 26. That's a legendary number there at Notre Dame West Haven. Only the best wear that number, Chris.
Why, did you wear it?
Maybe I did.
Good guess.
How did you know?
I don't know. Maybe because you were talking about the number.
A throw-in does not go well for Notre Dame. They're going to have to reset here. Esquivel, oh boy, he's back far in his own half of the field. Played down the line. Jimenez, he let that one run through him, but that one's kicked out by the Vikings, and Notre Dame will get another throw here.
Under 2 minutes.
Under 2 to go.
Half.
Jimenez looking for someone to throw it into. Finds his man. That's Brandon Fajardo. Jimenez now. Fajardo into the middle. Tries a low cross. Glenny. That one, popped up into his hand. And, boy, the officials have really gotten those handball calls correct today.
The official is making sure he talks to the Green Knight players. They were kind of getting a little bit, a little loud and just being like, hey, I got it, even though it was on you. Settling things down, basically. Very emotional game, but nothing to see other than just a good soccer game in this first half so far.
Especially with, and again, I don't know how much it's been noted to these boys out there, but it's the first time that Notre Dame has ever been in a championship for boys soccer. A lot of weight on their shoulders as you're the first group to do it. Now, can you go and get that banner? Whereas East Lyme, they've been in this situation before, obviously not this group, but you've had teams in the past, and Paul Christensen's been to this game before. He knows, obviously, how to win and lose in this scenario.
And East Lyme to get here, 2-1 Windsor, 2-1 OT against Simsbury, 3-0 against Bethel, 2-1 Cheshire. All close games except for the Bethel game, and it's just one of those cases where they're comfortable playing in this environment where it's a tight-knit, close game, 30 seconds remaining in the first half.
That one drilled down the field, and Grayson James on it. He's still got it with about 24 seconds left to go. A slip and a fall there as his teammate goes down. Fajardo. Esquivel. Nobody in the middle there. I think he was looking James, but couldn't get it to him, and we're under 10 seconds. Esquivel's going to try one last cross in, defend it away, and that will do it for the first half here at Trinity Health Stadium. We're scoreless, 0-0 between Notre Dame West Haven and East Lyme. Chris, any thoughts on that first half from your view?
From what we saw, just by the looks of it, and again, you were talking about the fact that the Brazilian culture side of soccer kind of really has shown with this Green Knights team where they're not really rushing. They're going through their set pieces. They're trying to make sure that they play their plan. Well, East Lyme, on the contrary, has not gone away from their plan, which is, okay, if they're going to be patient, then we're going to be patient. We're not going to try to force anything to try to, a couple times as we saw, when they were maybe showing a little bit of aggressiveness too early, too late, depending on how you look at it. They were getting away from their passes, a lot of throw-ins late in that first half, for the Green Knights. And I think that's, again, kudos to both teams. Neither really got away from their plan, but also, okay, let's give credit where credit's due. East Lyme has said, okay, we're going to go as far as what you're going to give us. And we did see a couple times on the East Lyme side where they had a chance to strike. One of them was the closest one late in that first half, could not come away with a goal. But the Green Knights, they were attacking, and again, there were some plays that I'm sure if they wanted it back, maybe could have came away with a goal. They didn't, and we'll see what adjustments are made on both sides. But both these teams got here for a reason. They're really good. And I'll be really curious to see what adjustments will be made in the second half.
We'll step aside for just a moment. You are watching the 2023 CIAC Class L Boys Soccer Championship here on the NFHS Network.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
We're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo.
You saying I did?
Yeah,
Come on, what's wrong with
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great. Participate.
Back here at Trinity Health Stadium, we are scoreless in our Class L Boys Soccer Championship game between Notre Dame West Haven and East Lyme. Take a look at a few highlights. Nothing crazy here in the first half of a scoreless game. Take a look. This is easily the best opportunities for both sides here, as this came early on from Notre Dame, and well done there on Johnson's part. Then for the Vikings, this one was called offside, but that could have gotten past Prado, and he managed to get a hand on it. So, again, a shot or a cross that got called back anyways for a offside, but still a great goal-scoring opportunity. Chris, you touched on just before we went into our commercial break. What adjustments are both teams going to make? Now, obviously, you don't know what they're saying down there in the locker rooms or on the sideline, but
wish I did.
I do too, just to see, from our vantage point, what would we think? How do we think? But I'm going to ask you, what do you expect out of this? I mean, it's a Notre Dame team that's been holding a lot of possession. Do they get a little bit more aggressive and just go, guys, we got 40 minutes. Do we really want to go to penalties and just hold? Because they could hold on the whole game and just play a defensive game and take their opportunities when they got them. Or do they want to go, all right, let's get aggressive and try to get that goal instead of kind of staying laid back and just take this to penalties and try to win it there?
Well, I think you got to look at the pros and the cons, right? If you're going to be aggressive in the case of the Green Knights or of Notre Dame West Haven, you're probably going to lose one of those midfielders that has been in that prime position to be able to help their defense, which has been very, very good. If you're going to push the ball and try to get the numbers, then you have to make sure that your defense knows, okay, you cannot get off assignment. You got to make sure that you're in the proper position, and if you are outnumbered, just make sure you just get the ball away to allow us to reset. If you're East Lyme, I would say they've been pretty aggressive for the most part. Again, the Green Knights have been very, very cautious with the soccer ball. They're not going to just boot the ball up, kind of like what Paul Christensen told me about them. They're not just going to kick it up and say, all right, Joe, whoever, best athlete, just run up, we're just going to kick it to you. That's not how he has played soccer, and that was the one thing he told me, that is something that over the course of time, soccer has evolved in that way to a certain degree with a lot of programs. But specifically for East Lyme, I'll be intrigued by kind of what Paul is going to do with his club, because like I said, they played in close games throughout this whole tournament except for the Bethel game in November 11th. It was a 3-0 game. I almost feel like, in a lot of ways, I think the Green Knights are going to adjust more than East Lyme will, right? Because East Lyme has played this kind of game before. They're okay with that. I'm not saying the Green Knights have not, but if you're the head coach and if you're on the staff, do you really want to go to PKs? I mean, do you want to get to that? Because, again, these coaches know, okay, I've got 5 dudes who can kick and possibly get a goal in for PKs. East Lyme, same thing. Do we want to play, because there are no ties, 2 overtimes and then PKs, right? So, again, it's kind of the comfortability. And Paul knows his team. Same thing with the West Haven coach. He knows what they have. So we'll know kind of what their thinking is probably within the first 10 minutes of the game. Of the second half, I should say.
We'll step aside for just a moment. We'll be right back with the second half here for our CIAC Class L Boys Soccer Championship here on the NFHS Network.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
back for the second half of our Class L Boys Soccer Championship. David Blanchard alongside me is Chris Saunders. And Chris, after 40, we're scoreless. We have another 40 coming up, and we can still be scoreless, but it won't end there. It'll go into some extra time, and we could still see penalties as well. There will be no co-champs. East Lyme's only championship in Class L was a shared championship with Weathersfield. That was back in 2002, so it has been quite some time. The other side of things, Notre Dame West Haven, our 8 seed, they have never won a championship. They've actually never been to a state championship game in any class, any division for boys soccer. They're looking to capture their first banner to hang at their school. Teams have talked it over. They've hopefully made a few adjustments, not defensively as much, but maybe to grab some goals here, as we saw 4 in our game this morning. None so far in this one. We will be giving you all 8 games this weekend here at Trinity Health Stadium in Hartford, Connecticut, the home of the Hartford Athletic and all CIAC boys and girls soccer championships. We're in 2 of 8. It's going to be a long weekend, but Chris, I think we always say it. This is easily one of the best weekends, at least for me and you. I know you do a lot of the football as well, and you have those Thanksgiving games, but it's this weekend and the hockey championship week. Those are my 2 favorite weeks and weekends of the entire year.
It's busy. I mean, like you said, we got the game Saturday and Sunday for here, and then leading up to the Thanksgiving Day games for myself on Thursday with Ansonia and Naugatuck. Then after that, the following Tuesday, depending, and usually the NVL has a couple teams in the playoffs, we do games that Tuesday for the quarterfinals. So it's a lot of broadcasting. It's a lot of sports and high-octane teams that are in playoff situations and such. And it's a great thing. And also for the kids, for any sport, it's an awesome experience.
As well as, I mean, when I was a senior, my game, if I had made it to the championship, would have been back in Middletown High School. Now they've upgraded to being here at what was formerly known as Dillon Stadium. I believe it still goes by that by most, but Trinity Health Stadium and the Hartford Athletics home field. It really is remarkable, and you see it even too, again, with, I keep mentioning hockey, I'll beat that to death, but they used to play at Yale's Ingalls Rink in New Haven. Now they play it at Quinnipiac. They've got the great venues like Sacred Heart's new rink, and even Toscano rink up at UConn. So, I mean,
you are Mr. Hockey. You are Mr. Hockey.
It's not even that, too. It's baseball. They still play at Palmer Field. Football, they're playing at Rentschler in
softball,
Central.
They played at UConn.
That was exactly.
Awesome.
Softball, they're even
time.
playing. So the CIAC is doing such a great job in elevating where these championship games are played, because it really is so, not just being in a championship game, but it is so exciting for these kids to be playing at a venue like this.
Are the football championships back at the Rent?
I believe that's so far what I've seen on the schedule is Rentschler and Central. Not
Central
confirmed
too. Okay.
But that's what on our NFHS side. That's what we have down on our schedule so far. It's a really, really far shot coming out there.
That could go down as a long throw.
Really, I mean, that was quite the distance, and the wind, I think, is going back the other way. So he hit that and then some to even get it past with all the wind coming back at him. So that could have been a knock from even 60 yards out. So we're underway here in the second half. Notre Dame, West Haven, and East Lyme scoreless after 40. We're going to see if anybody can get on the score sheet here in this second half, as that is Glennie, Ryan DeLucia.
Now we do have Suffield and Bacon Academy to follow this game, the girls Class M championship.
And what a game that is.
That should be a lot of fun.
Coming up to be, and there's a player on Suffield I'm very excited to watch, because I'm hearing so many great things, so many articles.
40 goals on her, right?
40 goals, and that was after the quarterfinals. I don't know how many she had in the semis, if she had any. I'll have to ask the head coach there before a game. But here's an opportunity for Notre Dame here in our Class L boys game right now.
We'll have to see if she scored one of the 3 against Lewis Mills.
And
Suffield, that's a draw. I mean, about what, maybe half hour from here, give or take?
Too bad. Yeah, they're north of
right
Hartford,
before Mass.
So.
Yeah.
This is Esquivel for the free kick. This might be the most dangerous opportunity for the Green Knights. Esquivel punched over the bar by Johnson. That one almost snuck in. But Johnson held his line and made the right play there, just punching that one over the bar. And a corner now for the Knights. There's the replay of Esquivel. His corner comes in and just easily defended away, but as you saw there on the replay, just nearly making this 1-0 early in the second half. And another cross opportunity there from Giancarlo Esquivel. Goes well wide and out for a goal kick. Johnson will take. Something new they brought into the game is the goal kicks, I know at the professional level, can be taken. Now you can pass to somebody on your own team inside the 18-yard box. Usually you had to wait for the ball to get out of the 18 yards, so now you can start a little bit differently. That was not just in the pros. Now it's here in high school. I've been seeing a couple of those short little put the ball down and play sort of, set plays out of your own back off of a goal kick. Vikings taking a page out of Rodrigo Silva's book and trying to play slow, but then they got the play going there a little quicker and ended up coughing it up. Prado with it now. So he brought that one into the 18-yard and picked it up. Rolls it out right in front of Stoddard. He's not the kind of kid you want to give the ball away to either, so you want to be careful and mindful of where Robert Stoddard is on the field. Chavez trying to defend there, but Tristan Sagan getting it away, and now the Vikings up the middle of the field. Taking their time, not trying to rush anything here. Some movement, well done. Beautiful passing play here from the Vikings. Delgado out to his near side. Cutting into the middle, looking for Stoddard just off the mark. That would have been dangerous, and now Esquivel with it. Stops on a dime and resets. He's taken down. No call coming. I'm not sure if it's advantage or if it was just the head ref thinking Esquivel threw himself more than he should have. A little bit of embellishment.
In basketball, they would call that a flop.
Fletcher to Esquivel. And the line to Lucia. Stays on side. He's all by himself with 3 maroon jerseys surrounding him.
Oh, boy.
Opportunity here. Chavez tries a shot, and that one's way over the bar. Fletcher was taken down. He was looking for a call that whole time as Chavez's shot goes well over the bar.
Here's the replay right here.
You'll see the replay, and not enough there for me, at least, on the Fletcher opportunity.
If you were on the sideline, as far as a ref was concerned, hold the flag, put the flag up. What do you think?
I would have kept that down. I thought there wasn't enough there. I think he felt contact and decided, let me try to get the call. We're right outside the 18, or he may have just been inside. I'd have to see it again. But it's one of those that's I let go. That's too risky in a championship game to be making that call, because now if that happens down the other end and I didn't really like it as much, now I have to call it. It's one of those where it's got to go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Vikings taking their time with their back four, so they definitely, Paul Christensen taking a page out of the Brazilian book, as I'll continue to mention, that patience game from your own back four. Don't rush your opportunities. Keep the possession. The longer you have possession, if you have the possession, you're the one that can score, not the other team. Montejano, outside, that far corner, holding it in. Well done, defended well, still in, and now chipped out. Great job there from Notre Dame, but it will go for a throw, and it will be a long throw here for Montejano to take. No, actually, he's switching off, so this is going to be Ryan Novick who will take this.
First throw-in for him in the game.
Interesting, and he can also, I guess, launch it pretty long because everybody stayed exactly where they would have if Montejano did, so. Novick, nice throw.
Very good.
In the air, Fletcher falls to him. Batted around in the 6-yard box right on that corner edge, and we'll go out for a corner now.
It looked like Fletcher was saying something to one of the defenders on his team because he was pointing down at the ground. I don't know if he was saying maybe you were supposed to be here. But again, the miscommunication.
Swung in, well done there, Stoddard, and it's in! That's their man, Robert Stoddard. And the Vikings strike first in the second half. And you see the East Lyme faithful going nuts. Robert Stoddard, the 31-minute mark, he got up over everybody and put it on that far side panel. That's who they've been looking for all game in the air. And I told you, you are not knocking him down in midair. A very, very strong individual. Gets up over everyone. And East Lyme leads 1-0 with 31:58 to go here in the second half.
Like you said, David, he got over the defender. And not just over, he had a full couple feet ahead of him. And he's been a star player for them, for East Lyme this entire season. And right there, you need big-time players to make big-time plays. And he made one right there to put them up 1-0 with about 8 minutes into this second half.
Frustration foul there from Diego Chavez. Notre Dame now with a little bit of pressure. They're down 1-0. Now you can't tie and go to a extra time if you don't score. So now it's we need to get one in the back of the net. And they've done so all year this year, only being held off the score sheet just, I believe, the one time it was a tie against Jonathan Law. So even in their loss to Xavier 5-1 that came just before that Jonathan Law game, they've got on the score sheet.
Now, this
Actually
goes
trying
back
to remember, too, if that I know they played Wilbur Cross and tied them again, went to penalties. I don't know if that one was a scoreless game, but regardless, they haven't been held off of the score sheet in many games this year. It would be one, maybe two.
Now, does this force the Green Knights to now have to get away from what they've been doing, which is being patient? Because now patience will only get you so far, especially being down. And the officials now giving a call to the Green Knights on what could have been an illegal trip, or tackle, I should say.
And this is the part where Notre Dame just needs to allow the referee to make his calls. As I believe he's still granting this free kick to them.
Correct.
So Escobar will take, but I'm not sure if that conversation was going to a maroon jersey and now has been distracted by the Green Knights because they decided they wanted to talk to the ref looking for a card or something. I didn't think it was card worthy, but I did think it was a foul. And like you said, Chris, yes, they need to be more aggressive, and I think you're going to see it now as they've completely gotten super aggressive since. Escobar with the free kick. This is bent in, and Johnson once again had to punch it away. That one was more of a shot than it was a cross, but here will be a corner now, Giancarlo Esquivel to run over and take. So a few opportunities for Esquivel on this free kick. Well done. Look at that. And I mean, it would cross beautifully. But punched away. I know.
He kicked it almost with his toe on the kick.
He got plenty of
plenty
of spin on that. Unbelievable cross there. And he's a righty, so he'll take this on this near side with his right foot. Sent in nice and low. Someone goes down in the box. That was Fletcher that went down again. No call. Play continues, and East Lyme gets out. And a foul, and it looks like a card is going to come out here against Notre Dame. So a little bit of frustration.
Do you think that's frustration?
100%, yeah. And the only reason I say so is because he did take a foul just a few moments ago, Julian Kubik. And he will receive the yellow card. He'll have to leave the pitch for the moment. And he did just as the second half, or I'm sorry, just after the goal, he took I would argue it's a frustration foul. You know, you're just trying to slow the play down, and he takes a card there. As a coach, I wouldn't like it. I don't think that that's the move that you need to make, as you had numbers coming back. But sub comes on as Kubik leaves the field after the yellow, and once again, Notre Dame West Haven looks like they're playing with more emotion than they are with their skill. They are talented, very talented group, and you know they can score as they've done all year long, but right now they have their backs against the wall.
When does the emotional side start to take away from their talent? if that makes sense to you.
If this continues,
They had an open net.
I was going to say, I wanted to see how that play went, but if this continues
Ooh.
for another 10, 15 minutes and they're still can't find the back of the net and East Lyme is playing well defensively, I think the emotions really start to take in. That one goes out for a corner. It looked for a second like he was calling a goal kick, and I wasn't. I was waiting to see if he.
Well, like you said,
is
this
a
is the
corner.
first time that they've been to this championship game before, right? So as every second goes by, every minute that goes by, the pressure starts to increase a lot more,
You're
especially
the
being
first
down.
group to do it.
Yeah.
First group to get here. You want to take advantage as Esquivel sends that one in. Well done. That one over the head of Johnson. Falls. Oh, miss hit there. Trying to make out who that one is. I believe it is Brandon Fajardo. And he just mishit that one. All he had to do was put a little something on it as Johnson was off his line. Could have been troublesome, especially with all of the traffic in front of him as well. So
Johnson really makes up for again, not making up per se, but his length, his size, you can really see, especially, too, on a couple of those corner kicks and on the free kick as well. If he did not have the size that he did, you're talking about a situation here where the Green Knights may have a goal, if not two.
Corner here for the Green Knights, and as you mentioned with Johnson, I wonder if he did play in that game last year, because if he did, boy, is he playing a much better game today as he makes yet another play there. The cross gets a little too close to him, and he'll snag it out of midair.
I know this game is still under 27 minutes remaining in the second half, but for the player of the game, again, early, right? Obviously, Stoddard, goal, you probably the main pick.
But without those
but
two
Johnson,
saves.
I mean, yeah. Johnson right now with the saves that he's been able to have, it's, again, I
It's
know
hard
one.
to argue against him. Yeah, no,
I mean,
I
Johnson
agree.
makes a great case. I mean, we've seen goalkeepers get the award. We have.
In blowout games as well, you know. I would have argued that if the Lancers came back in our morning game in the Class L girls, I would have argued that Veronica Rappi would have been
Rappi was very good.
because she made a bunch of
good.
stops early on in that second half to keep it a one-goal game, and then unfortunately allowing one later on. That was more of a defensive error, but opportunity here for Notre Dame. Fletcher tried to go right back in the middle there. Crossing this one in. Chavez! And it's in! Chavez with a header of his own. And Notre Dame is on the board.
Breakdown defensively.
They caught East Lyme sleeping for just a moment. And Notre Dame gets one back and levels it. Prado ran across the entire field. That's why I started laughing, by the way, if anybody's wondering. Prado, as you may see, running back into his net, came from his own 6-yard box, 18, wherever he was, and ran all the way to the corner to go celebrate with the goal scorer, Diego Chavez. 26 minutes left. We are knotted up again. It is 1-1 in the Class L Boys Championship game. And the body language right now for East Lyme is not the same as it is on the other side of the pitch. They look almost defeated, which is odd because it's only tied the game again. Notre Dame, on the other hand, is pumping up their crowd. They're getting them going. You think this plays a factor now? This goal maybe changed that whole momentum of this second half?
I mean, anytime a goal is scored, depending if it's going to switch the tides of a lead, it always can, right? And again, to go back to what we talked about before, East Lyme now is to try to find a way to be able, because who knows if they want to go to PKs or OT or not, but defensively, they've had a couple mishaps in the second half, and it felt like at some point they were going to eventually come away with something, and they did right there at the tie of the game, did the Green Knights.
Plenty of time left for this one to end in regulation. No extra time needed just yet. But if we do get to that point, and I will mention it now just because we are tied, and it is within 25 minutes, it'd be 2 10-minute halves that you have to play. Have to play both, no golden goal. And if you're still tied after that, it will be penalties. As a foul there.
Players down.
DeLucia looked like he pushed just a little too bit there on the back and holding his calf. Hopefully all right, as time will stop. We'll see again this. It's a little push in the back, and I think when they rolled over together, I think the cleat must have collided with the ankle, but he is up under his own power. That is good to see. That is Gabriel Delgado. That is one of the all ECC players, first team all ECC players for this Viking team. Senior. Would have been very tough to lose him at this point in the game, and it's good to see him get back up, but I'm sure that definitely stings as it looked on the replay like the studs may have caught him on his calf or his ankle. Vikings trying to counter here. An opportunity. Defended away for just a moment and then cleared. No, not up as Montejano keeps it in, staying on side. Wanted to cross that into the middle. Oh, good opportunity here. Delgado with a shot. Oh, just over the bar, and that would have been so surreal. You go down just a minute ago, and then you grab the lead. The defender almost getting the goal there, but it just out of play. Pareto will put that down.
It looked like there was a miscommunication at the 18-yard box, where almost as if somebody was supposed to cross or somebody was supposed to cut something, and it didn't happen.
And it looked like Brendan Osso was the intended target, and I don't think he realized he was. And the ball went all the way to Delgado. Oh, well done by Chavez there to win that ball back. Those are now, see, instead of a frustration tackle, they're back in the game. They know it's even. So instead, he's working and muscling off the ball, whereas that one could have just been a, reach over the back and pull, as we've seen a few times in this second half when the Green Knights were down by the score 1-0. This is Delgado. Finds Osso. Vikings taking their time. It's worked for them earlier on in the second half. Now, not as much as that one's cleared down the field, and it will be a throw-in for the Vikings on that far side. 22:45 to go in the second half. This is our second of 8 games this weekend here at Trinity Health Stadium, the home of the Hartford Athletic and all CIAC Boys and Girls Championship games. David Blanchard alongside me, Chris Saunders. We had our Class L champions earlier for the girls. We'll see the boys later on. It's very rare that we'll see the two biggest classes play on the exact same day. And interestingly enough, it's the game that kicks us off for the day and the game that ends us for the night.
With the Class 2 specifically. So we won't see any L games tomorrow.
No L tomorrow, but you'll get the L girls tomorrow, as later on we'll have M for the girls and, like we just mentioned, L for the boys. So you're also getting the two bigger classes for the boys today, and you're going to get the smaller two tomorrow. So, again, it's very interesting that the way that this all worked out this year, but always fun.
Stayed on sides.
That ball to Chavez. Can he keep it in? He does, but kicks it out for a throw, and I think the alternative is...
Rather have that than
I'd rather have the throw than the alternative of the goal kick.
Because goal kick, he can get it to the 40 or the 50. Whereas
honestly, he might get it here with this throw in too. That's probably 30, right about where,
just about probably where Johnson would have kicked it.
Oh, I love those long throw-ins. It really does play such a big factor in today's game. And
it's a lethal weapon, especially
really
if you can't get
a
goal kick.
Like I said, you can set it up like, with you got a guy who can hit threes in basketball, and you're going to hit him at the, at the top of the arcs and everything. That's your set plays. Get it to him so he can hit those threes. To have a Steph Curry on your team, or in hockey, you got a guy like Ovechkin setting up in his office. In soccer, if you've got a guy like Stoddard, you can throw the ball to him and get it to the opposite side of the field, get it to that far post. You could score like you did on that corner. So it's those set plays that sometimes they may not be a free kick or a corner kick, but sometimes it really is. It's very, very integral part of the game. There's a foul called there. At first it was signaled for Notre Dame, and everybody seemed confused. Does go the way of the Vikings of East Lyme. Just over 20 minutes to go here in the second half, and we will be seeing a few subs coming on. Grayson James re-entering the game, as well as Julian Kubek. He was the one that received the only card so far. Prado, that one gets through his hands. Knocked down was Stoddard, no call. East Lyme up in arms. They wanted something, and this ball's now played to Esquivel. Defended away, just out of bounds for a throw-in. But interesting there was no foul given to Stoddard, and he's asking it was a push. We're going to get a replay there. I'd love to see it as well because I'm not sure if he was pushed as much. I want to see here. He made initial contact.
Yeah,
you know what? I don't think
the right shoulder drop. He got a little bit of a.
But you know what it is too is he
shove.
gave it back to him just moments before. So it's one of those. I honestly.
Which one is more egregious?
Honestly, I give him 50-50. That's the way I look at it, and it's also that's a tough call that not a lot of refs want to make it a game. It's
especially
give a penalty.
near the box. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So personally, again, no bias. Trust me, no bias. I'm giving 50-50 because he made the initial contact, got some back. That's 50-50 in the eyes of most referees. I will agree on that part. But I can't argue where you're saying is he did get shouldered down where you could definitely grant that penalty, but it's not something that you're going to see a lot here with a game like this. You don't want it to come down to a 50-50 in most referees' eyes penalty, whereas you can get something clear and obvious. It could be the same thing with a handball that pops up. You're not really sure. So an opportunity here for Notre Dame. That was out of the reach of Chavez. Excuse me, that was Grayson James who did just re-enter. It's very tough with all the blonde hair. I'm really getting confused.
Well, in the jerseys, too, it's a little bit hard to read some of the numbers. The sun is very bright right now.
I also just figured it to be Chavez only because he's been up there all half. That one goes out of bounds. So it will be a throw for Notre Dame in their own half. This is, once again, this is the quiet part of the game. We saw it earlier in our Double L girls game where it kind of quiets down just a bit. And at some point, somebody gets a great opportunity and either wakes both teams up or they score and wakes just the one team up and gives them the momentum to finish this game. Or, in all honesty, you could just see two teams just quiet down for a good portion of this game. But
then have 2 overtimes, 10 minutes each.
10 minutes each if they do get to extra time, but the Vikings, I believe, don't want to get that far. Like to end this in 80 if possible. Montejano. Oh, he looked like he wanted to cross. Tries it that time, and that one's defended well there. That was Amir Kolik. Another sub coming on now for East Lyme. This is Max Montejano. Coming off is Luke Salan. Cross here. This is the deadliest part of East Lyme's game, the corners. Something Rodrigo Silva said he definitely wants to not lose in is the air against East Lyme. They're big and strong. Shot there, just out of the reach of Robert Stoddard. He would have been all alone on a 2-on-0, and it would have just been, I would have assumed him taking the shot there. As he does, he can hit it as well. I will say I have seen a few videos of him shooting. So it's not like he can't hit it, but he is the guy that'll score with his head most of the time. The ball goes out, and it will be a throw for the Vikings.
Which is always dangerous because of how far they can throw it, too.
Anywhere where this 30 to 40-yard marker on the football hashes that we have here on the field at Trinity Health Stadium. Anywhere in that area, I would say, is deadly, although Montejano just gives a short throw there. That ball was not sent in very well. Slowly getting it out was Notre Dame as they weren't rushing anything, and now getting it all the way out, sending forward James. Goes all the way back to Johnson, so he can pick this up, and he will do just that. Ryan Novick with it now. He's another one that can throw it long. Novick again. And that one back over. This is who sent in that initial ball, Tristan Sagan, the MVP of the ECC championship game. His cross originally didn't get to the intended target. Now it does get to his man. Ethan Legg sending it into the middle. Stoddard, and it's in! There's the strike we were talking about.
Then guess who it was? Stoddard again. And that time, he not only had one defender, he had two. As we watch the replay right here.
He
had
put
to get
him
by two, yep.
on his back and fired. Stoddard, the man for East Lyme, has put the Vikings ahead yet again with 15 to go in the second half.
Stoddard is built not like a prototypical soccer player. Then no disrespect to soccer players who are lanky, tall, and whatnot. He is more built like a fullback, linebacker for football.
Absolutely.
Where he's got thick legs. He's a strong young man. So him being able, and I'm not saying he's bullying.
And his height, too.
Exactly.
I mean, the height you got to put in there as well.
I'm not trying to say he's bullying the kids on the defensive side, but he's able to kind of give them more of the weight that he has, which resulted in him being able to get separation as a wide receiver would. There goes the goal. East Lyme leads 2-1 with 15 minutes remaining in the game.
I believe I misspoke. That wasn't Ethan Legg. That was Dominic Stefanski that sent that ball in. I believe it was immediately his assist. But that is Stoddard again. We were talking about he doesn't just do it with the head. He can also hit it with his foot, and he did just that there to put East Lyme ahead yet again. Now, with Notre Dame down with 15 to go, how do they respond?
Well, we saw how they responded before. They came away with a goal again, a breakdown by East Lyme.
A little bit of frustration to start,
Yes.
but then they started to get back to their ways. And like you said, it was a bit of a, falling asleep.
Yes.
I would argue the same thing for their Notre Dame.
That's
They
true.
fell asleep for just a moment. And like I mentioned, one team's going to fall asleep. It's that slow portion of the game. There is the goal that wakes a team up. It's going to wake both of them up for sure, but one of them's got the advantage now.
After the goal was scored, I saw the defense line telling, I don't know if it was the crowd or maybe the players, like, okay, calm down, relax, because, again, you don't want to get too high, but you also don't want to get to a point where you're kind of looking ahead here because you still got under 14 to play. This game's not over yet.
Nerves definitely going to take a factor soon in this one. Another foul there. Fajardo takes down, I believe, Montejano. No, wrong again. It was Montejano. I'm sorry. I thought that was his brother. It was Max Montejano. So I was right. There's two of them out there.
You were right about the last name. Just the first name.
I had the right. Yes, I was just thinking a different first name. That's Max Montejano. So that one's sent forward and
Too hard.
Too much, but it's going to roll into the corner. So that honestly does take a good chunk of the clock off. Very well placed ball. There's a few subs coming back in here. That's Luke Salon, the senior, and Brantford Lionetti, another senior.
Stoddard's
He's
out.
entering. Stoddard coming off now. I'll be honest.
We have seen
he
that
deserves
before.
it. He
We
deserves
have seen
it.
that. Give him a breather for a couple minutes, and I'm sure this is, hey, I'm taking you out for a minute, giving you a couple seconds to breathe because we're going to need you for the finish, big man.
DeLucia getting bullied. Kept in. East Lyme keeps this in. That is Glennie playing it back into the middle. Fajardo keeping it in front. Chavez with it. A shot blocked. Fajardo tried to get on it, and that one's cleared away by Brendan Osso. So an almost opportunity there for Notre Dame West Haven. Defended well by East Lyme. That's all they have to do now. They've got the goal. All they have to do is defend, and they are state champions. Fajardo. It's going to be a very long 12 minutes for East Lyme and a very, very short 12 minutes. Going to seem almost like 2 for Notre Dame West Haven.
I think I know why Stoddard got taken out. He's stretching out his hamstrings, his calves, probably getting a little bit tight. I mean, he's been doing everything on the field for East Lyme.
And he has been, and as we mentioned before the game even started too, that is their man, and Rodrigo Silva even mentioned it. He said, I know I want to mark this kid as much as possible, and unfortunately that is who's beating him now. Fletcher!
Goal.
It's in!
Miscommunication.
What a
there.
hit from Will Glennie! He puts it right on the foot of Evan Fletcher, and we are tied again.
Defensive breakdown once again.
I may be wrong. I'm sorry, Glennie and Giancarlo Escovel look so alike right now. I know the two numbers are different, but the blonde, bleached hair, and they're about the same size, both wearing a captain armband.
Actually, may have been off the East Lyme player.
regardless, I know Fletcher did get a touch to it. But that, I don't know who crossed it, if it was Giancarlo Esquivel or Will Glennie, but one of the two hit a screamer onto the foot. I mean, so perfectly placed, and that's what makes me think that it was Esquivel, because he has been very spot on with his kicks today. Mm-hmm. Puts it right on the foot of Evan Fletcher, and once again, we are tied 2 apiece with just over 11 to go in the second half of our Class L Boys Championship soccer game here at Trinity Health Stadium in Hartford, Connecticut, the home of the Hartford Athletic and all CIAC Boys and Girls Championship games. Delgado swinging that one in, that one short. Coleman tried to clear it, couldn't get it away too much. Oh, just out of the reach. Prado tried to get a hand on it. I don't think he got anything on it. It will be a goal kick. We'll see a replay there. Coleman not enough there, and then getting this kick off was Finian Gates. He wanted, his teammates were looking for a touch, but Prado did not get anything on it, and it was just past the post. Now we're going to see Stoddard, I would assume, come back into this game as he's getting ready towards half field. Good to note as well, if the ball goes out and it is not Notre Dame, if it's not East Lyme's throw or goal kick or anything of their possession, Stoddard can't re-enter. No. So they can't just kick the ball out now and go, all right, let's get our guy back on.
Correct.
You need it to be your possession. So Notre Dame would have to make a mistake, whether it's a throw, a goal kick, a corner, or it could be another goal. Who knows? You do it without Stoddard, but I'm assuming they want their man back out on the field. Delgado.
We saw 2 goals in not even 2 minutes. Very quick pace.
And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't me throwing in a towel for Notre Dame either, but I did not know if they were actually going to climb back into this game there. That was just, they caught me sleeping because I wasn't even expecting Fletcher to score on that play. It seemed like he was well marked. He had 2 jerseys, maroon jerseys around him, and a third nearing.
But you got to think about the communication, though. The goalkeeper, Johnson, I think he probably should have been the one that called that off instead of the defenders, because then once you leave your spot, you're leaving the goalkeeper spot completely wide open, which is exactly what happened, because I wonder if he felt like, okay, maybe the defense, the mid-back needs some help. And you saw right there, basically a collision, albeit it wasn't, and that's what led to a goal.
Foul here.
And Stoddard's still on the sidelines.
This will be Esquivel, and that's, again, why we mentioned needs to be East Lyme possession after a stoppage of play. That one sent into the middle. Chavez! Oh, just out of the reach there was DeLucia. And it gets to Johnson. Easily scoops that one that time, but Fletcher was in the area. He was scoping it out, seeing if he could tap another one in. Put Notre Dame ahead. We got 8:30 to go here in the second half of our second of 4 games today, 8 this whole weekend. Prado coming out. Picks that one up. Treat with that. Dan Glennie with that, I apologize. Fajardo. And again, this is a point of the game now that Notre Dame has tied it again. Now, they haven't had the lead at all yet today, but their confidence is there again. Fletcher holding it. Jimenez giving it back to Fletcher. He wants to cross it in. Well done there defensively, keeping that in front of him, Ryan Novick. And he wins himself a throw-in to get, so far in this match, their hero, the senior Robert Stoddard. He's got both goals for East Lyme. One in the air, one on the ground. That throw goes to no maroon jerseys. There was about 4 white jerseys surrounding Esquivel. Oh, just missed him. Tried to trap that. Fajardo. Fletcher now. Beats around his man. Tried to cross it in. Novick stopped it. Tried to cross it in again. Johnson said, let me take this. And they're trying to counter quickly. On that far side, that's Lionetti. Somehow gets it to Stoddard. Stoddard gets around his man. Coleman knocks him down, and that's going to win a free kick for East Lyme. He's not an easy guy to take down, but obviously when he goes down, it must be a foul.
I'd be careful. One of the Notre Dame West Haven players really having a conversation. I mean, again, nothing bad, but
we'll see it again here.
He didn't even make the tackle.
No, and it was an extension. Yeah, you could see the arm just a little bit. Now it's two big bodies. Coleman's a big kid too, and
Coleman's probably the closest one body-wise I can match up with Stoddard. Yeah, I agree with that.
Usually, as you mentioned, we see it as a defender with Coleman, obviously. Stoddard, you don't really see that as a forward as much, and that's Esquivel talking to the ref.
Trying to figure out what line, what wall to have here is got to have the necessary feet.
So an opportunity here. Delgado moving in now. It's crossed in. Oh, just past that post. I think barely getting ahead on it. I don't know if it did get him or not, but Tristan Sagan tried to play that right onto the head. It wasn't Stoddard in there.
I wonder if that was supposed to be a designed header. Because I saw a player,
Stoddard, yeah,
or at least somebody.
He wasn't in the right area.
Yeah, or somebody, because it looked like there was a player. I couldn't see the number, was trying to do a flick.
I believe it's either 10 or 8, so it's either Osso or Dominic Stefanonski who has the assist on the latest Stoddard goal. So it's also one of those, maybe it is a set play. All right, they know Stoddard. They're going to mark him now.
They know it's going to be
get
towards
it to
him.
Another guy, and obviously
Exactly.
maybe just a little bit of miscommunication. There is a shove saying no more. Very vocal to Callaway Scott is our head official. And he's going to stop time, and I believe a card will come out, and it is a yellow. So yellow handed out there. He's coming over to the coach, and I'm wondering if it's letting him know exactly what that card is for.
We got a substitution coming in, number 20 for East Lyme.
And this could be very good for them as Tegan Dunn, a sophomore, but he's got also some pretty good size there. This is a defensive switch maybe just for the moment as obviously Callaway Scott has to come off of the pitch. What a cool name, by the way, Callaway. That is very interesting. I've never seen that before, but I do like that name. And yes, I am a golf fan myself. But again, it's one of those moves you make. All right, you have to take off your big guy. Let's put another one out there, another size. And this is a very, very big team considering this Notre Dame team has a lot of smaller players as Esquivel here to take it. Esquivel, great cross. Oh, Johnson, he had
used his height.
I'm not sure who it was just behind him. I'm going to try to make out that number in just a second. I think it's Chavez, and it is. He had Chavez just behind him, and that was on his forehead. That would have been in the back of the net if Johnson lets that through. Puts it down and just kicks it forward. We are under 5 to go here. I just want to remind, once again, unless we have a late go-ahead goal, 2 10-minute halves for extra time. If we're still tied, we will see penalties, as that is a little bit newer here in Connecticut for the championship soccer games. No more co-champions. It's coming out there, and there's the goal! A defensive breakdown! And Finian Gates is the hero right now for East Lyme.
3 of the 5 goals that have been scored in this game have been because of defensive breakdowns.
As you watch the replay here, it was chipped forward. Prado came out, missed it completely, and Finian Gates picked up the loose garbage just in front of the net. And with 4:09 to go.
David, Gates came in only a couple minutes ago. And he came in because of, obviously, some of the things that have been happening on the field with a couple injuries and some miscommunication. So Coach Christensen wanted to kind of change things up. Now, he has a lot of length, and you saw kind of him and Prado a little bit as far as that mismatch. And like we saw with Johnson earlier on the game-tying goal by the Green Knights, where you have that situation where if you are not able to pick up your spot, you're basically leaving the net wide open. And that's what happened right there. And Gates got the goal.
Notre Dame has only allowed more than 2 goals once this year. It came on October 20th to now Class Double L Xavier. It was a 5-1 win for Xavier. right now, as it stands, East Lyme is the second team, to put at least more than 2. So 3 goals up on this Green Knights team that's been very defensive all year. I see a lot of 1-0s all down their schedule. Xavier, the only one to put up more than 3. Foreign came the closest. They were the only one other than Xavier to put up more than 1 goal. It was a 3-2 win, though, for Notre Dame West Haven. Foul there with about 3:25 left to go. Esquivel plays it forward. Glenny forward. In the air, headed away. Who can get to it first? It's Glenny. Plays it forward. Coleman stops. Oh, just lost the handle there. DeLucia still with it. Just out of the reach of Johnson, and
Goal kick.
Goal kick awarded. East Lyme just barely getting away from some danger there.
If you notice, Christensen's adjustment right there is that he's only having Stoddard up. He's keeping everybody else back defensively. This is almost like prevent defense. If it's 3rd and 20, 3rd and whatever it is, he's putting everybody back. Stoddard is the only one that's going to be up as the attacker. So Christensen saying, okay, this is the game right now. Everybody on basically other than Stoddard, is going to be playing back and trying to stop this attack of the Green Knights.
And all East Lyme wants to do is kill the clock. They don't need another goal. It would help. Wide open! Oh, just missing! On the doorstep. Prado came out. Just missing that one. It was Brendan Osso. That would have been the icing on the cake in a game that I believe is going to be won by East Lyme regardless right now.
And it looked like he was trying to avoid Prado almost, because I don't think he wanted to kick Prado, because that's where the ball was going towards.
Didn't want to make a foul.
Yes, I agree.
Just wanted to get a touch on it and waste more clock. Fajardo, scorpion kick there, but it's going to get called for a high kick.
Player's down.
And player is down. We will stop the time. 1:42 left to go. As it stands, East Lyme.
Here's the replay right here.
We'll see.
We saw it after the fact, but
just a little after.
Yeah.
But it was a bit of like a scorpion kick behind him, and unfortunately connects. It would have been a nice play had he not hit anybody, but I think the ball did go a little too far forward anyways. It would have been a goal kick. So
classy move by a couple of the Green Knight players to be able to go up and kind of help out and just make sure and attend to the player. You know, you talk about having high character, and those are some very high character moves by the Green Knights.
1:42 left in the second half. 3-2. A late hero goal from Finian Gates puts East Lyme ahead of Notre Dame West Haven 3-2. They're currently getting their revenge after a 4-1 defeat in the quarterfinals last year, just a year ago, in the Class L CIAC tournament.
How about this back and forth? This second half has been exciting.
Every single time I think Notre Dame is
So
probably going to just settle down, they come right back out. And again, it's that Brazilian style. They don't give up.
No.
Crossed in. Oh, just past Chavez. Johnson catches it, and
Down to a minute.
1 minute to go. The Viking fans can feel it.
Regardless.
Johnson, ooh, nearly almost giving that away to Chavez there, but Stoddard kicks it forward, and the wind's going to knock it down, so it's going to kill a lot of clock. 40 seconds to go.
Regardless of this outcome, Notre Dame West Haven, what a way to show out. What a way to show up, seriously.
And as an alumni,
talented team.
Definitely putting us back on the map for boys soccer.
Agreed.
We've had our opportunities in the years past, but to get to this point, it's your first championship game. You've come so close in years past. Well done to those boys out there wearing the white and gold. Headed forward was Fletcher. Chavez. Fajardo, one last chance for the Green Knights. Tripped up was Jimenez. Out for a corner. 4 seconds. And that will do it. East Lyme, for the first time in 21 years, are Class L state champions in boys soccer. And this time, It's all theirs. You can see the fans of East Lyme, and boy, did they show out today. The final 3-2 in favor of the Vikings of East Lyme. They get their revenge on Notre Dame. A year removed from the tournament in 2022. This year, they are champions. And for Paul Christensen, in his 36 years, it's his second championship. And as I've mentioned before, his first that he can hang in the school and say, it was only us. Nobody else, no sharing.
Well deserved. What a game. I mean, again, I know we have 6 more games to go, but this kind of had all the makings. I mean, the first half, again, was a little slow. We saw a lot of kind of strategic play going on. Second half was goal after goal after goal after goal. You and I were just talking about that. And, again, we talked about how Notre Dame Fairfield has a lot to hang their heads high on going forward with their program. Same thing with West Haven. I mean, you mentioned how there's a player coming back from one of the academies. That'll be interesting to be able to see. Hoping. But regardless, this program has a lot to look forward to. But East Lyme, their time was due, and we're going to see some replays right here of not only the third and clinching goal for East Lyme from Gates, number 14, who came in late in the second half. But this East Lyme team, you talk about a resilient bunch, right? What they had to fight throughout the season, the injuries that they had. Their second game of this playoff, they were dealing with illnesses, with nagging injuries throughout the year. Not only did they win the ECC championship for soccer, they win the Class L championship as well. Congratulations to Paul Christensen and the East Lyme Vikings. What a job, resilient bunch. Memories made forever here in Trinity Health Stadium in Hartford.
And they dump all their water on the aforementioned Paul Christensen.
That's going to be cold.
A state champion again. Talking before the game, let me tell you, calm as could be.
Oh, 100%.
No nerves,
Yep.
Nothing. He's been in this situation before, given it has been 15 years since the last one, but he came in confident that his group could get it done, and they did just that. We'll sign off in just a few moments, just before the award ceremony. But again, I have to mention, as a Notre Dame alumni myself, I'm very proud of that group out there. This isn't it for them. They will be back. This program is only getting going. It's all that Rudy Raffone, I know, wanted for Notre Dame years ago when he started it in 1988. But once again, congratulations to the East Lyme Vikings, their first championship in 15 years. And that'll do it on our play-by-play portion of the game. We'll stick around for the award ceremony. Chris, I know you as well as me probably assume Johnson or maybe Stoddard should get the player of the game, the MVP. I think it's clear, more than likely going to Finian Gates with that late winner, but not knocking the effort from Stoddard and from Ben Johnson all game long. They were the reason that their team managed to win this 3-2.
What a game. That's all I have to say. What a game.
And once again, setting the bar very high for our next two games here on the NFHS networks. This was 2 of 8, but for the last time, East Lyme, the Vikings, 3-2 over Notre Dame West Haven to capture the Class L Boys Soccer Championship. For Chris Saunders and our entire crew here of Bird's Eye Sports, I'm David Blanchard. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in just a few moments for our Class M Girls Championship.
Good. Good for you. All right, our board has the next game. So it's not Tell mom and dad I said, tell Mark we can't say hi, okay? Yesterday. Oh, my basketball game. JV game. We scored like 96 points, 90 points. The JV guys. They scored like